Hi, I'm Vanessa Edwards. I'm the president of CPI, a marketing operations consultancy, and a former agency principal. I've done over 100 integrated software deployments and facilitated over 50 agency turnarounds, specifically focused on aligning leadership, improving operational efficiencies, and getting leadership the data and insights they need to improve decision making. In today's video, I'm excited to talk about one of my favorite subjects, project management, specifically project management within the creative services industry, and unfortunately, why we see it fail so often. I want to start by talking about why I believe PM is so critical to agencies in today's world. Here's an analogy for you. Imagine your agency is a stool. Most owners only focus on 3 legs of the stool: strong creative and/or strategy, landing and retaining clients, and maintaining a great culture. Let's be honest, you can survive with just these 3 legs of the stool and maybe a little bit of accounting, especially in a good economy. But I'd argue that you need a 4th leg to your stool. You need a robust finance and ops discipline. With this finance and ops leg, you can blow past simply surviving in the industry and you can really thrive. So what is thriving? Well, in my opinion, thriving equals profit, but not profit in the negative way, profit that fuels opportunities. Many agencies can't take the risks that would make them a better agency because they have to keep, quote unquote, feeding the machine. But when your agency is thriving, you have way more runway to invest in your agency and your people. Things like great marketing opportunities, pro bono work, investing in your clients, investing in new markets or new verticals or technology, or even profit sharing for your team. While accounting, finance, and BI are important pieces to the finance and ops leg of the stool, the most important thing to get right is the project management discipline. If you've ever heard me speak before, you know I'm a die-hard PM advocate. It's my belief that the PM discipline has the largest impact on agency profitability over any other department. So, having said that, let's talk about what I'm seeing with project management in our industry. Over the past 10 years, I've noticed a dramatic increase in the number of PM technologies focused specifically on our industry. While there used to be just a few giant players, it feels like there's a new up-and-coming software launched every day. Agencies have been deploying these technologies with various levels of success, mostly because many of them don't have dedicated PM disciplines to effectively use the full breadth of the tools. Also growing, but not as quickly as tech, is the deployment of PM disciplines within agencies. With the increased complexity of integrated marketing campaigns, agencies are realizing they need a robust project management discipline and a strong technology to be successful. But just like with technology deployments, these PMOs have had varying levels of success in our industry. In fact, what I'm seeing more often than not is PMOs that have had minimal success or have failed completely. So why are these PM disciplines failing in our industry? Very good question. There are a lot of reasons, but I can break them down into the 3 biggest factors that I've seen. Number 1, there's a critical flaw in the PMO design or deployment. Number 2, there's no leadership buy-in or a critical leader isn't bought in. And number 3, there is a lack of trust of that PM discipline. So let's back it up and start with number 1. So we've often seen that failed PM disciplines have been designed improperly or there was a poor rollout of the discipline. Some of these critical flaws that lead to this are having unclear or undocumented roles and responsibilities between PM and client services. This often leads to duplication of effort and the creation of a basically glorified traffic team versus a robust, proactive project management team. Hiring only junior PMs and are making the PM discipline not client-facing. That again leads to a very reactive versus proactive project management discipline. Having PM report to client services versus finance and ops, which is obviously a clear conflict of interest. Poor messaging to the agency about the PM discipline, which leads to teams not understanding the business value of project management. And even if an agency has no critical flaws in their PM design or rollout, the second biggest factor that can lead to a failed PM discipline is not having leadership buy-in. It's important to note here that sometimes even just having one critical leader not bought in is enough to sink the entire ship. So, this not having leadership buy-in, it leads to a lack of empowerment and or undermining of the PM discipline, thus reducing the value of the project management discipline for the entire agency. Leadership from the top down needs to believe in the business value of project management and champion it within the rest of the agency. They must ensure that PM is seen as an equal discipline within the agency that will help create the balanced tension that agency needs. If you have a leadership environment where the client or the creative is above all else, no matter what, a PM discipline will never be successful. Assuming all leadership is on board and the design and rollout are right, that brings us to our third factor for failed PM deployments, a lack of trust. Here's where you need to challenge the agency to think of their project managers as partners, which requires trust. A lack of trust or the inability to build trust between project managers and client services or project managers and the execution team leads to the micromanaging of PMs, duplication of effort between teams, poor handoffs, and ultimately not allowing PMs to actually do their jobs. Without this trust, project management ends up being minimized to the dreaded quote-unquote project police and or my favorite, the killers of dreams. And they don't get to play the role of valued partner, helping you balance the relationship between the agency, the client, and the work. With everything I've just described, you can see how failed PM disciplines have become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You didn't believe in it, so you didn't empower it. You designed it wrong. You told people it wouldn't work, and therefore, it didn't work. This is where many agencies are finding themselves today. So, how do you prevent a failed PM deployment for your agency? Great question again. So first, you need to make sure you have leadership buy-in or that you can get leadership bought in. Okay, it doesn't have to happen overnight, and you might need a resource external from your agency to actually make that happen. Next, you need to ensure that you have strong financial and operational leadership, as well as senior level project management within your discipline. Don't just hire junior PMs. You need to make a commitment to balancing your client or creative-centric culture. We are not talking about completely going the other direction. We're just talking about bringing it back from the edge. You need to align your organizational structure so that project management reports to finance and ops to avoid that conflict of interest. And your client services team must be open to having an operational partner and be willing to let go of some of the work they're doing right now, including client communications around driving projects. I know that's a tough one. And then finally, you need to empower project management to be the agency advocate and equal partner to client services. Okay, I could talk about this forever. I could go on forever, but I'm told I got to keep this under 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop there and say thank you so much for watching. I hope you've gained some perspective into why PMs fail within our industry and some ideas on how you can make your PM discipline successful. Please join me for the next few videos where I'm going to talk about leveraging agency management software and bringing it all together, as well as how to use business intelligence to align leadership. Thank you so much.